Now this is tragic, as there have been at least 8 fatalities and 300 people attended to on the first of the 3-day Travis Scott festival. About 50,000 people were packed into the sold-out festival when the crowd surged towards the stage, crushing audience members who had nowhere to escape. Now, heartbreaking footage of desperate crowd members were seen scaling camera towers, begging for help as Travis was unaware of what was happening. And there's one video which has been going crazy viral, showing paramedics attending to an individual and then pan over to show Travis still performing. I should note, what this video doesn't show is that moments before this, Travis did pause the show and ask security to attend to the individual. In other footage, you can see an ambulance with flashing lights moving into the densely packed crowd, and then 2 people talking to Travis on stage explaining what was going on. But then Apple's live stream footage of the festival shows him saying, "Y'all know what you came here to do," and then continue on with the set. 23 people were rushed to a local hospital, including a 10-year-old, with 11 of those hospitalized suffering from cardiac arrest. One person who went to the concert said that the shorter people in the crowd were struggling to breathe, and as people started passing out, the crowd started panicking and everyone was trying to escape, which made the situation much worse. Now, Travis has released a statement sending his prayers out to all of the families and all those impacted from the events at the Astroworld Festival last night. Now, today I was asked to research people who have attended their own funeral. I honestly didn't think that this could possibly be a thing, evident by my reply to the comment. But let me tell you, I was bloody wrong. So here's a few of the craziest stories I found. In 3rd place is Noella Rakundo. She made headline news around the world in 2016 because, unbeknownst to her, her own husband had arranged hitmen to take her life. Now, it seems that these hitmen were in the wrong profession, because when they realized her own husband was the one who ordered the kill, they felt bad for her and let her go. Noella then flew home and confronted her husband publicly at her own funeral he had planned. He was later sentenced to 9 years in jail. In 2nd place is Edison Vicuna. He went missing for 3 days, but when a body turned up of a man whose face had been severely disfigured following a car accident, a post-mortem was performed and the corpse was confirmed to be Edison's. From his funeral though, Edison turned up drunk and confused, causing mourners to scream in horror. The funeral was halted and the body was returned to the morgue, where it was properly identified as belonging to someone else entirely. And in at number 1 has to be Figaliu Makanedzanov. 100th take saying that name. Now, she collapsed at home following a heart attack and was soon declared dead. A few days later, as she was laying in her coffin at her own funeral, she woke up. She saw the mourners around her crying and praying for her, and when she realized what was happening, she began yelling and freaking out, so she was quickly rushed back to hospital. However, the shock of what had just happened took its toll, because she lived for just an additional 12 minutes in intensive care prior to her dying once again, this time permanently. Now, if you laugh, you are going straight to hell. A man has just been eaten by piranhas after he jumped into a lake trying to escape from a swarm of bees attacking him. The 30-year-old man was fishing with 2 of his mates when they were swarmed by a group of bees. After realizing that running away from the bees wasn't working, they jumped into the lake, but unfortunately, this lake wasn't a crystal clear Canadian dream. This lake was in Brazil. As soon as they jumped in, they were swarmed again, but this time it was by these demons. Now, the 2 friends managed to swim away and call the fire department for help. Days later, the body was eventually found 4 meters away from the shoreline, and authorities could immediately see that the carnivorous fish had made a meal out of him. Today I googled, which country has produced the most serial killers? And honestly, number 1 is insane. Right, in at number 5 is Italy. They have produced 97 serial killers. Finally getting mentioned in one of my lists, I see you comment section, is Canada at number 4 with 106. That's a staggering 0.29 per 100,000 people. Now, number 3 is an unfortunate regular on all of my lists, South Africa with 117 murderous individuals. The runner-up is England with 166, with the most notable being the infamous Angel Maker. She killed almost 400 babies in the 19th century. I told you number 1 was insane, and I didn't lie, because USA obliterates this list. They have a staggering 3,204 known serial killers, which is approximately 19 times more than the 2nd highest. That means almost 1 in every 100,000 people is a serial killer in the US. Today I was asked, who is the youngest person ever to be put to death? The youngest child ever put to death was 14-year-old George Stinney Jr. He was an African-American boy living in the Jim Crow South and was charged with murder after bodies of 2 white girls were found in the black part of the segregated town of Alkaloo, South Carolina. The prosecution offered no physical evidence, and George's siblings believe that the police coerced a confession out of him. An all-white jury took less than 10 minutes to condemn that child to die in the electric chair in 1944. But the worst part, 70 years later after his death in 2014, his case was re-examined and a South Carolina court found the boy innocent and exonerated him.